It's 5:14. It's 5:14 p.m. and we are currently at the City Council chambers. It is May 2nd. I will now call the meeting to order. Before we start the meeting, we'll have a roll call of commissioners. I will start off on my left side. We have Commissioner LaRusse,
Present.
Dr. Garcia,
Present.
Commissioner Pitch,
Present.
Chief Bright,
Present.
Chair Hosseini, present, and Director Morabito.
Present.
For the other commissioners, they had prior engagement, so they will not be joining us for tonight's meeting. Continuing on our agenda, we would like to have a land acknowledgement on just the fact that we are on indigenous land. We are in the land of the Pawtucket, and we open our meetings to any indigenous peoples or people of First Nations peoples to join our meetings in our conversations that we have here for now and for future meetings. Before we go to the approval of the minutes, we would like to all say the mission statement. So whenever you folks are ready. The mission statement of the Revere Human Rights Commission is to promote human and civil rights and empower all people of Revere by ensuring that everyone, especially the most vulnerable and marginalized, have equitable opportunities, equal access, and are treated with dignity, respect, fairness, and justice. Thank you very much, everyone. For the approval of the minutes, can I have, can I please have someone to make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 4th monthly meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Seconded.
All right. For approval of the minutes, everyone say aye.
Aye.
For moving on to our monthly acknowledgements, May is the Asian American and Pacific Islander Appreciation Month. May 2nd is National Day of Prayer. May 4th is International Firefighters Day. So thank you very much, Chief Bright. May 5th is Cinco de Mayo. May 8th through 9th is the Day of Remembrance and Reconciliation for those who lost their lives in World War II. May 12th is Mother's Day. May 12th to 19th is the Taiwanese American Heritage Week. May 18th is National Armed Forces Day. May 22nd is International Day of Biological Diversity. Also on May 2nd is the Declaration of Bob, which is an Iranian holiday. May 22nd is also Memorial Day. From May 27th to May 29th is going to be the Ascension of Baha'u'llah, which is also a Persian holiday. Are there any other holidays or events to be mentioned while we're here about the month of May that I haven't mentioned already?
I apologize if I missed it, but did you mention May 1st is International Laborers Day?
Yeah.
No. Thank you. Sorry, can you repeat that?
International Laborers Day?
Laborers Day.
Or like Workers' Day?
Laborers Day. Hey, thank you very much, Commissioner LaRusse. Any other? Memorial Day, May 22nd? Yes. Awesome. Is it? Yeah. Okay. If there aren't any other events or holidays that I haven't mentioned or hasn't been already mentioned in the meeting today, please feel free to go to the HRC website and fill out the form for any events for either this month or any other upcoming months so that they are acknowledged when we get to those meetings. I think the main focus that I wanted to, the one thing that I want to mainly focus on for this meeting is just our outlook for the circle training that we're having with Strong Oak next month. So I guess just like expectations that we have, either personal expectations or group goals that everyone wants to accomplish while we have that circle training and how we would like to implement that in our meetings. So I'll start with if you're ready, Commissioner LaRusse, about what do you expect from going into this meeting?
Is it okay if I ask a question first?
Of course, go ahead.
Have we finalized the date yet?
Yes, we agreed on most of from the responses that I've gotten June 13th to 14th.
Okay,
So that would be the second week.
okay. Expectations, I am really excited to do this. I've met Strong Oak before for I think the November monthly meeting, I think that we did. And that was really great to have us do kind of like a circle type of thing. So I'm really excited to learn more about circle training and get to kind of see a different way that we might approach future meetings, because I know that that's something that we discussed, like maybe incorporating that training into how we run our next meetings.
Dr. Garcia?
My expectation is that the training, if we are unified now, I think the training will bring us together. Training is always good because they tend to bring team members together, and unify them and make them stronger. So that's one of the expectations I have. I mean, as far as and I know, knowing the person of, Strong Oak and the work that she's been in the past, I think she's very good in terms of creating a climate, an environment that will allow us to really get to know each other better, and also work around some differences, which is perfectly normal, and then, bring us together so that we can continue to do the work we do. Those are the expectations I have.
Thank you very much, Dr. Garcia. For personal expectations, I definitely think that it'll definitely be added to my tool belt of things to use in order to engage in conversation and how to really talk about difficult concepts, whether like what we ever did in November with the Indigenous Peoples Day and in other very controversial topics that a lot of people don't like to talk about. I think using that within the Human Rights Commission and in other aspects of my life will be the best way to handle such conversations, since they are very sensitive to most people. In terms of what group expectations, I think it really aligns with what Dr. Garcia and Commissioner LaRusse have mentioned. It was just like, how can we use that circle practice to really further incorporate it into our meetings, just like how we did with in November and December, especially with the human rights, Universal Human Rights Month. I think having meetings structured more that way allows for more community engagement, especially when we do actively have people come in and engage in those conversations like that. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to moving forward. Yeah, so that's what I have. So whenever you're ready, Commissioner Pitch.
Thank you, Chair Hussaini. I actually don't have expectation, and I'm really excited that Grandmother Strong Oak is available to provide support for the commissioners. I hope that this will give us another tool to engage the community at large, and I'm really excited about that, and it's just like a different approach to our work.
Thank you, Commissioner Pitch. Chief Bright?
Just echoing some of the comments from my fellow commissioners. I don't have any huge expectations other than, like Commissioner Pitch said, to, remain open, listen. I've had the opportunity to have a couple of circles. One, Commissioner Pitch held at the police station a couple of years back, and the last time we had Strong Oak in here with us on one occasion, and it was very interesting. It's something new for someone like myself, and I think it may be a good, certainly a great learning experience, opening yourself to listening to everybody else, and just a different way of going around and just being vulnerable, letting it out there, and a better way to resolve conflicts, again, with this commission as we build out going forward.
Thank you, Chief Bright. have any words, Director Morbido?
So my expectation is for each one of you that are going is to just soak it all up. Hopefully the training benefits each and every one of you. Just enjoy the moment while you're there. Take it as much as you can and bring it back to the city.
Thank you, Director. I think another question that I would like to bring up to the commission is what are some hot topics that you would like to bring up to Grandmother Strongo? Like whether it means how do we bring people who are so oppressive against us into that conversation? Like that's my main thing. For how do we invite people who don't want to be here? You know what I'm saying? Who don't want our commission to exist, and how can we coexist with them and actually have a meaningful conversation? So whoever wants to go for that can answer that question.
Chair Hosseini, so the training is different. I think the training is about teaching us and giving us the tool how to engage with the community differently than how we do stuff in a mainstream kind of classroom approach. So this circle is totally different. And it's an invitation to engage community and, like you said, how we can coexist and accept our differences, and also at the same time create a community that is equitable. So that's the tool that she's going to teach us how to do it. I'm not saying that circle practice is only one practice that we can utilize. It's another kind of tool that we can utilize to engage people. I'm sure there are different tools. And from my experience, we have been utilizing circles in 2013, and it has been a great change in our engagement with clients, with survivors, domestic violence and their children, and then also engagement with the communities that we're working with. So I definitely see the benefits from the circle practice and training. And hopefully, the training that she's going to provide us is first is like teaching the concept of circle and the history, and then she also teach us how to utilize circle, like train the trainer, basically. Yes.
Does anyone else want to comment on whatever Commissioner Pitch has mentioned or the question that I've brought up to the commission? Go ahead, Dr. Garcia.
Yeah, I understand where Commissioner Peach is coming from, but I think one of the tenets of the circle is to teach people how to overcome tension and, teaching or covering strategies in terms of how to deal with conflict and things like that. We live in a city where people have preconceptions. They have different views, which we always want people to have different views and perspectives on things. And there's tension also in our community. It could be racial tension, it could be, misunderstanding of our role as commissioners of the city of Revere, and it could be a variety of things. We're navigating very difficult time, within the city, outside the city, and this tension will always be here. People will question us. And we have to, what I'm looking for is that out of that circle that she's going to engage us in this training, she will provide us with some tools, some strategies in terms of de-escalating situations, and give us some ideas in terms of how we can engage people, even if they don't like us, how to engage them. Because tensions are high. When people come, they talk about us, we tend to respond. How can we respond in a way, right, that still will make them welcome, but again, and we know that we cannot change mindsets and things like that, but at least we have ways in which we can respond in a meaningful way to de-escalate the situation and make them understand that this is something that we're doing that is good for our community. We want them to be part of the change. We want them to be part of the process and so on. Those are the types of things I'm looking for. De-escalation of tension, conversation, listening for understanding, not for responding. There's a lot of things here that I'm looking for that are part of the circle process. I think that's what I'm looking for personally.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia.
Yeah.
Anyone else would like to respond to that? Go ahead, Ed.
I guess I just want to expand on kind of like what I was talking about with my expectations. I've never, outside of that, the November monthly meeting that was done and like led by Strong Oak, the only other experience that I've had with something similar to this has been I've been invited to a healing circle. So I'm excited to hear a lot more about like the history of doing these types of circles and like understanding because what Commissioner Pitch was kind of describing to me kind of sounds a lot more like what I have familiarity with in a healing circle. So I'm interested to see like where the two meet, if they're in any way related and stuff like that, and how they work.
Thank you, Commissioner LaRusse. Go ahead, Dr. Garcia.
No, I'm good.
Go ahead, Commissioner Pitch.
Thank you, Chair Hosseini. So the circle, so we use circle for many forms. Circle is also being used for reconciliation, restorative justice, like Dr. Garcia had said, and to address some conflicts. Circle is also used for community building, celebration, healing, and also grief, So there are many forms of different environment and situation that we can utilize circle for. So basically, it's a tool that we can utilize for all of this, right? Not just addressing conflict, also community building, as well as relationship building and celebration as well.
I guess my another question that I have for the commissioners here is, after going through the circle training and really planning on how to establish that within our communities, should we start, and I think this goes back to the conversation that we had the last monthly meeting, is should we start with applying whatever we learned with just the commissioners ourselves at first, just to start off, and then really expand to the community? Or do you think that in order to spearhead those conversations with the community, we should just go straight right ahead and then do whatever we did with the November meeting, where we actively invited people of the community to engage in a conversation about an issue that is prominent in our city? So I guess, like, what do you folks would like to see when it comes to organizing such events for the commission?
From what I recall from our last two meetings, it seemed like we were having, we were coming to a realization that a lot of us have a lot of different ideas about what we see as like the future of the HRC, and that led us to talk about like potentially having some sort of a plan, some sort of an outline of like what do we want to do for a year, or what is our mission for a year and stuff. So I think it's important after this circle training that we apply it within ourselves, and we get us like obviously like we're all here for the same mission statement, which we read at the beginning of every meeting, but I think it would be really great for us to implement it amongst ourselves so that we get on the same page, at least about our more like immediate goals before we bring it to the public.
Thank you, Commissioner LaRusse. Anyone else would like to comment on that or comment on the question that I asked? Okay. I mean, I think I agree with what you said, Commissioner LaRusse. And I think everyone else can also agree that, whatever we plan to do in the past two meetings is whatever we're going to continue going forward with. It's just really just focusing on ourselves first and then expanding forward, which I'll admit is like very new to me because I tend to do it the opposite way, but it makes sense why some of the things that I've had losses in the past is because I had to change my outlook. So I'm glad that I'm going into that space with you folks in a different mindset, because obviously doing the same thing over and over again will not give you a different result. So like I'm really excited to go through that journey with everyone, and I think everyone else could say the same thing about each other. So I'm really looking forward to having everyone at that training and really get to see where our weaknesses are, where our strengths are, what we should work on, how can we use that training to the utmost extent, and how we could plan for our, the upcoming year using the things that we learned from that meeting. Does anyone else would like to continue talking about outlooks in terms of the circle training? Yep, go ahead.
I just wanted to add, I'm also really curious because based on the way that Commissioner Pitch has described, the different forms that a circle can take and how we can do it in different ways and stuff, I'm really interested to see once we bring it back here and do it amongst ourselves, how it ends up looking, fitting into our culture, if that makes sense, before we bring it to the public. So I'm really just interested to see how we decide to adapt it amongst ourselves. And then I assume it'll probably change once we start doing different things with the public to implement it.
Sorry, just for clarification, what do you mean by within our own culture, as in like as culture with just us commissioners, or like our individual cultures?
I guess I'm speaking like to the culture of Revere.
Thank you, Commissioner LaRusse. If that's it, we actually don't have that big of an agenda today, because a lot of the things that we've done for the past couple of weeks is just really planned for that training, and then I'm glad that we've all came to a decision on what days we're gonna do it on. So we are gonna be moving on to an open forum, so anyone within the commission, if there's some, like a topic that you would like to bring up to really talk about for the remainder of the meeting, you have every right to do so. Go ahead, Commissioner Pitch.
I'm just going to go back to the circle training a little bit. Do we already have the venue, like where are we going to have the trainings and all of that, or is in a work in progress?
So right now it's just, in terms of where we're gonna do it, it's still a work in progress. I did get, a final amount from Grandmother Stronghold, so I did, communicate that information to Director Morabito and Paula. We could definitely have that conversation between, us and Stronghold to see what's the best place to really, coordinate that, conversation, and then, we'll make it known to the public as soon as it's officialized. I mean, unless you folks have like ideas, I think we should do it in the senior center, like we did it. I mean, it's a huge place. We could definitely make space. Go ahead. No, go ahead, please.
I like the space, is the space available for 2 days, two full days?
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll definitely, as we continue going along finalizing the plans for this training, we'll definitely find some places to do it so that we could have that meeting for 2 consecutive days. And until we find, as soon as we find one, that would be communicated to everyone in the commission. All right, awesome. Any other questions regarding the circle, regarding outlooks of the circle, things that you would like to ask Grandmother Stronghold, anything else like that?
I do
Go
have a
ahead,
question
Commissioner
about,
Pitch.
unrelated to circles, about I think at our last meeting, we discussed that there would be a training that some of us may or may not be able to attend. I just wanted to ask if anyone is going to. I think it's May 20th.
This is the
Racial
racial
one,
one. Director Morabito, do you have more information about that training that you mentioned last meeting about the racial equity one?
There were 10 spots left about a month ago. Let me see how many more are left, and I can get back to you guys as soon as possible.
Thank you very much, Director Morabito.
Is anyone on the commission going?
If there's available space, I'll definitely do it.
I'm only inquiring because I'm wondering if it would be possible maybe to plan for our next meeting's agenda to have time for any reflections for anyone who went or things to share from that training.
So like we mentioned in the previous meeting, that training that we're gonna do in June ultimately replaces the monthly meeting. So we're not gonna meet up at this time for the first week of June. We're just gonna, our monthly meeting is gonna be that 2-day training. Yeah. I mean, if we could definitely ask with the permission of Grandmother Strong Oak, if we could have some time to talk about if anyone went to that training. It's really, obviously, she's the one who's running the training, so it's really all up to her. But do you think if we could allocate some time before actually training to talk about that?
That might be doing it a lot.
No. Okay.
I was just, so the purpose of me asking this is I wonder if it would be useful to the rest of us who may not be able to attend, if those who could attend could either take notes or just make mental notes of things that they want to share the next time we all collectively meet, even if that's not until August or something. Or just keep notes and maintain them so that if anyone in the group, let's say 6 months down the road, needs some sort of resources or something regarding that, they can know to turn to that person because they went to that specific racial justice training. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Understood.
Basically maintaining a network kind of or a database for each of us to know oh, so-and-so went to this training. If we need resources for X, Y, or Z, we know this person went to that training, this person went to a different training, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there is a way to put that on our website. The HRC website mentions that, Commissioners X, Y, and Z went to this particular training. For all questions and inquiries about such training, you could reach out to them. If there's any way I could help with that and facilitate that, I'll definitely do that. I think that's the best way to do it. Or if there's any way we could, I don't know, the Director Morabito, is there any way to publicize the notes that would be taken from that training? Do you think that's any
Or
way to
just
do
any
it?
training in
It's
general.
similar to minutes for us? Is it?
So the REI training is more for self-development and more for, you'll actually get a certificate out of it for racial equity understanding. It's more of a training for self-growth. So it's not a minutes forum or a public forum where minutes will be taken. It's more of you're going in there to educate yourself.
I think just making it known on the HRC website that, Commissioners X, Y, and Z have received their certificates in that particular training, all kind of inquiries would be best out to reach to those commissioners. I think that's the best way to do it, right?
We can also reach out to whoever's instructing the course and ask for some resources for them to send. Because eventually on the DEI website, there is a link to the HRC website, but we'll provide, it's still picking up the website, so I still have to add more information. I just had my hands tied, so I'm just trying to get more information and more resources on it. But eventually there will be a fountain of information on there.
Thank you very much for that, Director Morabito. So I guess that addresses that training for the racial equity. Does anyone else want to bring up anything before we head off to the audience? If there's anyone in Zoom?
I just-
Yep, go ahead, Dr. Morbido.
So I just want to mention, Memorial Day, there will be an exercise, Memorial Day, on May 27th, that's a Monday. There will be honoring our veterans that we lost. I don't have the time, but go on the city website, eventually it will be on there. And I know this Human Rights Commission only meets on the first Thursday of the month. So I do want to let people know on June 3rd, there will be the start of Pride Month, and there will be a Pride flag raising outside City Hall from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as well.
Thank you very much for those updates, Director Morbido. I think since we're not officially, go ahead, Commissioner Pitch.
I am. So it just reminds me that there's also Juneteenth and the Pride Month. I know we're not meeting. Should we do something? Should we put together like a statement or something like that? Or proclamation for both Pride Month and Juneteenth, right?
Is everyone in agreement with putting out some sort of statement for both Pride Month and Juneteenth? I think that's a great idea since we're not officially meeting. Or I was thinking that I could do like a small video just doing all the monthly events for June and then putting it on the website since we're not going to officially be meeting. And then also having the two statements on the website just to show like our support for both movements. How does everyone feel about that? Or do you think we should do something different? Go ahead, Dr.
So,
Morbido.
I'm sorry, I forgot you guys aren't meeting in June. So we have June 3rd, that's the flag raising from 4 to 5 p.m. On June 18th, we're having for Juneteenth, outside City Hall, we're having a flag raising. And I'd just like to applaud Dr. Garcia for accepting our invitation for being our guest speaker. So thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Garcia, let's give a round of applause. Oh, yeah.
And we're looking forward to hearing his words. He's always has so much to say and has so much insight. And then on June 23rd, Sunday, June 23rd, from 2 to 5 p.m., 2 to 7 p.m., there'll be a Revere Beach Pride celebration, and it's been a success every year. This will be the third annual. So hopefully everyone can join. And that will be at Waterfront Square on Revere Beach.
A question to Dr. Garcia. Is there anything that the school is doing regarding either Pride Month or Juneteenth that maybe some of us commissioners can be a part of or just help out with that we need to know about?
The Juneteenth, we are taking students to the Bureau Cemetery, the marshland. Is it Romney Marsh?
Romney Marsh.
Romney Marsh. So to be honest with you, for the time that I've been in Revere, I never knew of the existence of that cemetery. So we're taking two classes. Those are students who take the history of Revere. So we are doing a field trip to the cemetery. There are, I think, 7 to 14 black and slaves buried in that cemetery, something that I never knew. So we will have a retired Revere teacher. His name is Jeff, what's his last name? Perman. So he's going to be there basically talking about, the history of the cemetery, but also talk about those enslaved, those black enslaved, how they end up being there. He will make a connection to Juneteenth. It will be filmed by Revere TV, and then from there, we'll spend about 20 to 30 minutes there doing that. Then we'll come back to Revere High School, to the Learning Commons. Paul Amado, the person who's in charge of the media, will film the event, we'll do a debrief. In other words, what students got out of that visit. So what they did, what they learned, the emotion, based on the narrative that, the historian is going to talk about or talked about. So that's what we have. It's going to be probably an hour and a half event. We can shrink it a little bit, but that's the plan we have. It's basically connecting our classrooms to reality. In other words, we have students, we've been teaching students, and many of our students, if I don't know, I never knew of the existence of cemetery. Imagine so many kids, what they know. I mean, I'm making a big assumption here. Maybe they know, but maybe they don't know. So it would be great to connect theory to practice and make sure that kids have that type of experience. It's going to be very, very exciting. I'm very excited about it. It's going to be all filmed. We can broadcast it, and then we'll put a few touches to it, but that's the plan.
Dr. Garcia, will you, for those who are interested in joining, like, are we able to join the students in that?
Yeah, you can join the student. We were not, whoever is available, you can show up. It's probably going to be from 1 p.m. to, we'll spend about half an hour at cemetery, and then we'll come back to Riviera High. If whoever is available wants to join, you're welcome. I think it's a great event. The more people we have, the better. I mean,
Go ahead, Commissioner Fish.
Dr. Garcia, will you please send us the date, the time, and information to the HRC?
We'll do.
We'll greatly appreciate
There's a
that.
brochure that we're putting together, so we'll send it to you.
And obviously, with your permission and the school's permission, is there any way that we put that on the HRC website as well?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Awesome. All right, thank you
Yeah,
very
We'll
much.
tweet it out.
Ah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
So we'll do all kind of stuff.
All right. Is there anything else that anyone want, like any other events that people want to broadcast for June, since we're not meeting for that month, that we should know about? If you don't know, oh yeah, go ahead.
Chair Hosseini, I think it would be good, I don't know, like a resources page that has Juneteenth in information. I think it would be good to share the Juneteenth history and information on our HRC page. And also the same for Pride Month as well.
I'll see, because I'm pretty, as someone who did work on the resource list, we do have we do have resources for both. We do have resources for both events. I'll definitely, is there any way to make sure Director Morabito to share that information to like all users of Revere? Is there any way that we could do that with the commission?
We could, but if we start to do that, we got to be consistent across the board. They'd be getting emails every day. We would have to do it for every single event, not just Pride or Juneteenth. Everything's about expectation and consistency. If you do for one, got to do for all.
Yeah, but is that like an option that we can do for anything that's happening for every month?
I would say it would be best to put it on the web
That website,
page, because to send to all users, it might get kind of bothersome that they're getting an email because we already get so many emails that it may be cumbersome for them and a little overwhelming because if we do it for one, we have to keep doing every event, Memorial Day, any event that we do. So, and we got to keep in mind that if there's videos involved, workers can't just be sitting at their desk watching an hour-long video. You have to be productive as well. So, but I would say place it on the webpage. That would be the best.
Thank you, Director. Go ahead, Commissioner Fish.
I have a question for the Revere TV, right? I don't know how. I have, like, the Revere TV still broadcasting the information, and I'm wondering, I know what you had said about if we do one, we have to do for all. I'm just curious, like each month, if the Revere TV can be a placeholder and say, hey, this month we're celebrating, right? And then give resources, like there's an event somewhere,
one thing I had suggested a while back is if any of the commissioners are interested in doing a talking segment on Revere TV, just a down-to-earth, one-on-one conversation, and just let the people of Revere get to know who you are, you as a person, not you, the commissioner.
I'm down for that.
Me
I'll be
too.
honest.
And you can you can switch it up. 1 week it could be Carew, 1 week it could be the chief, and so.
I think that's a good suggestion, something we have discussed in the past, and I think Director Moravidu is right about that. I think the more we do those type of things, and it does not have to be just about our role. It could be where we came from, right? Our history, our experience. We started the series at Revere TV now with the family liaisons. I don't know if you guys have been following that. So we have all the family liaisons going there and basically talk about their country, and also at the same time they cook. And people go there, they sit down, they eat. So it's about 45 minutes to an hour show. We did it for Ramadan, we did it, so each specific national, holiday, it could be an Independence Day. We have somebody out there basically cooking, and people sit down there and eat. And that food always brings people together and generates ideas, and you enjoy, each other. I think that's something we could do. Why not? So simple things,
I think this comes down to how we could utilize the working groups, whatever working group, because I think for that event, it really can go both ways, either the community engagement organization working group or the cultural events and celebrations, like whichever group decides to take that project and like go along with it. I mean, as someone who is part of the cultural celebrations and events group, I'll definitely, if me and Chief Bright, we could definitely go ahead and spearhead that project, or the folks who are part of the community engagement and organization, we could definitely have that conversation and be like, who would like to spearhead that project? So that way we're truly utilizing the subcommittees and not like leaving them there to not do anything. So we could definitely continue on and having those conversations as we go along the year, especially since as soon as we get stuff down, such as like budgeting and all that, and then we could start off that project, whichever subcommittee decides to go along with it for the new year. So I think that's the best way to really utilize our subcommittees. Yeah, it sounds very exciting, by the way.
Chair.
I love it. Go ahead.
Chair Hosseini, I appreciate that. I like that idea a lot. And as we are working on priorities, I would love to look at events that we want to have happen or we want to host as HRC. And I also, on top of raising flags, we can intentionally think about something else we can do as well. And then also be intentional with
Thank you.
the people who are, on the margin of the margins, like if we celebrate Ramadan, if we celebrate some other event, how about the people who's not like being represented? Even though there's a small number of people in this community, they also deserve to be celebrated as well. So I just want us to be intentional. It's like for Diwali in November, for South Asian, what are we gonna do? Should we invite students who's, in the South Asian community, come and cook and celebrate that? And, just think about, usually we celebrate the majority and not the minority. So I just want us to be intentional and pay attention to that.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Pitch. Director Morbido?
Just to piggyback, I think that's a great idea. Like, for instance, the Greek, there's not a large population of Greek residents in the city of Revere, and this Sunday is their Greek Easter, Orthodox Easter. So there's a lot, I think sometimes we get blinded because there's a lot of different populations, and they don't reflect a large portion of our community. So I think that's a great idea. But if you look at some of the calendars, you'll have your hands full. You need a whole staff just to write about and inform people about every single holiday, because there are a lot.
I think as all these ideas, I have been writing them down as we're going, as we were going along the meeting, and they will obviously be mentioned in the minutes. I think the minutes that we've collectively worked on the past couple of months are just lists of ideas that we have. And I think would come very much in handy when it comes to the time where we all gather around and really focus on what we're going to do for the next year. One thing that I'm going to be working on until we have that gathering is just, it's going to be a document of the list of ideas that we've mentioned over the past couple of months since we've gotten the new commissioners, so that everyone has those lists, so that we don't forget about the ideas that we've had during the meetings, and then really reference that anytime we want to look for another thing to work on for the event. So definitely be on the lookout for that in terms of the, in your emails, that it would just be a document that has a list of all the ideas that we've mentioned in the past couple of months. So that way we all have that on record. Anything else that anyone wants to bring up on the time here, since we still have some time? I think we've had. Awesome, and no one's on Zoom? Alrighty. With that being said, can I please have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. This time, meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much and have a great evening.